Hello and welcome to Elecspo, and it is time for part 2 of our Newcastle United Saudi Takeover experiment. If you haven't seen part 1, maybe just go back now and check it out. But we left things with the Toon finally ending their trophy drought by lifting the Carabao Cup. For the first time since 1969, they have won a major trophy. They've spent huge money on the likes of Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka, all the while with Nuno Espirito Santo now calling the shots. They're finally climbing the table, and it looks like they've even broke into the top 6. After 5 years, the Amanda Staveley era is going brilliantly, but will it continue to get better over the next 5 years? There's only one way to find out, so I'm James from Elecspo, and this is part 2 of the Newcastle United Saudi Takeover experiment. Okay, this is where we left things on the 14th of June 2026. Newcastle had just came 6th in the Premier League, 60 points on the board, qualifying for next season's Europa League. As you can see, managed by Nuno, Declan Rice the skipper, Tyler Adams vice captain, very rich, 4-star reputation. And when we look at the schedule, you will see that they won the League Cup, a penalties victory over Everton. Bukayo Saka scoring the goal in the final that set things on the way. We eventually made it to penalties and Newcastle won. But speaking of Bukayo Saka, he could be on his way out. He was the record signing, but he's a wanted man. Man City have offered £97 million. Bukayo Saka have been one of the mainstays of this new era for Newcastle, £114 million, but will he leave to go to an even bigger club? There's only one way to find out, so let's simulate another year into the future. Let's go to 2027 and see what happens in the 6th year of Newcastle's Saudi takeover. Okay, here we are, the 13th of June 2027. Newcastle once again have came 6th, 70 points on the board, a pretty good tally, but they won't be playing in Europe next season. I'm going to assume that must be because Bournemouth won a cup and Leicester won a cup. Let's have a little look just to explain things. Vincent Kompany, the manager at Bournemouth, which is quite interesting. Bournemouth won the FA Cup, so that got them into the Europa League. As for Leicester, I'm going to assume they must have won the Carabao Cup, which has put them in the Europa Conference League. Has it? Let's find out. Why can't I see? There we are, yes. Leicester winning the Carabao Cup. So despite coming 6th, Newcastle aren't going to be playing in Europe next season. But as you can see from this, they're going in the right direction. Obviously, we started the simulation. They came 12th in the first season, and it's been 10th, 8th, 4th, 6th and 6th again. Newcastle have solidified themselves as a top 6 club. 3 seasons in a row they've finished in the top 6. But this time they're not going to be getting European football. Let's have a look at the schedule. Obviously we know they haven't won anything, otherwise they would be playing in Europe next season. We'll start with the Europa League. They were in a group with Sevilla, Hajduk Split and Roma, which for a Europa League group is quite difficult. They made it through though. They got to the second round where they beat Besiktas. Then it was a quarter final where it all ended with a 5-4 defeat on aggregate to Lyon, but a pretty good run if you ask me. FA Cup, they got to the quarter finals, beaten on penalties. As for the League Cup, they didn't defend their crown. They were beaten in the 4th round by the eventual winners, Leicester City. Let's have a look at the squad. In fact, we'll go to the transfers first, because has Bukayo Saka left the club? We might have to go to last season's transfers, and he has. Bukayo Saka has gone to Manchester City for £97 million. Manchester City, the second best team in the division. I mean, Pochettino manager, Kimmich the captain. I mean, it's no wonder really that Bukayo Saka has gone. For all Newcastle's newfound riches, there's still a long way for them to go to reach the likes of Man City, Man United, Liverpool. Let's have a look at the rest of the transfers. At the end of the season, they signed Barry Lewis from Burnley. That's a great regen name, Barry Lewis. He's pretty good as well. 10 caps for England, 5 goals. Barry Lewis. I mean, it's mad that we've got a player called Phil Foden. Here we've got Barry Lewis. Barry Lewis. He's pretty good, you know. Good on Barry Lewis. Well done, son. Let's have a look who else they've brought in. Sadio Mane on a free. That's quite interesting. At 35 years old, he's been given the number 10 shirt, and he's done alright, to be fair to him. He's earning 135 grand a week, and he only signed a 2-year contract, so for the shirt sales, it was probably worth it. They've spent big money though, just shy of £200 million, coming in just shy of 100. So compared to other seasons, the difference between the outgoings and the incomings, the difference between the money going out of the club and coming into the club isn't quite as vast. But let's have a look at the players, see who has been the main man. And it has been, I was going to say it's been Kenny Hudson, it hasn't, he's only played twice. It's been your friend and mine, Barry Lewis. We've had Gaz Brady's in the past who've been regen stars of these simulations. The new man on the block is Barry Lewis, 7.59 to put him ahead of Declan Rice, the captain. Julian Viard, he's done well as well, another regen, 20 years old. 27 million quid from Anderlecht, that's a lot of money for a 20-year-old, but after that first season, can you blame them? A great season. Martinelli's done well, 14 goals. The top scorer was Barry Lewis with 16. Edgar Lemaire also got 16, he looks like another regen. And the Belgian, the number 9, is a winger, that doesn't sit well with me. Gabriel Martinelli getting 14 goals and Elif Elmas getting 10. So 4 players hitting double figures, 2 of which, well actually now Barry Lewis can play up front, but predominantly is an attacking midfielder. But this Newcastle team, obviously they won a trophy last season. This season they've done well again in the Premier League. I think they've even bettered their points tally. Did they get 60 last season? Yeah, they got 60 points last season to qualify for the Europa League. This season they're 10 points better off, but have got no European football coming their way. But that might benefit them in the next season. They've got a clean run at getting back into the Champions League. Can they do it? Let's find out. Okay, here we are, the 11th of June 2028, and as we predicted, Newcastle have climbed the table once again. They have came 5th, getting 72 points, better than last season, a place better off, 2 points better off, but they have missed out on Champions League football by 4 points. But things are going in the right direction. I mean, you can't be sniffing at that for Newcastle. 5th in the Premier League is a wonderful finish. And they've won a game in a neutral venue, so it looks like they've also won themselves another trophy. Let's have a little look. They have beaten Everton 2-1 in the FA Cup final. And on top of that, they've also won the League Cup final. God, what a dramatic season for Newcastle. A cup double. Let's have a little look at this League Cup run. It started, they beat Blackburn, they beat Stoke, they beat Everton, they beat Burnley. And in the final, a 3-2 win in extra time. Mert Mulder, the right back, the Turkish right back, in the 120th minute, getting the winner. That's so dramatic. Wembley will have been an absolute scene on the 27th of February 2028. Black and white shirts going their absolute limits. I mean, the shirts probably weren't on. Shirts were definitely off, even if it was February. It might have even been snowing with the whole global warming thing going on, but it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. Anyway, Newcastle have won the Carabao Cup for a second time, winning it in probably the final kick of the game. But that wasn't the end of their successful season. They also went the distance in the FA Cup. Started off by beating Fylde, then they beat Fulham. Then it was Arsenal, big win. They beat Norwich in the quarters. In the semis it was Southampton, setting up another final with Everton, the team they met in the 2026 League Cup final. This time they met in the FA Cup final, and it was Barry Lewis at the double with 2 goals in the final 10 minutes to turn this game on its head and give Newcastle their first FA Cup trophy since 1955. Absolutely amazing. Let's have a little look at the transfers. They've spent £161 million, 65 million coming in. On top of that, they did spend a bit of money at the end of last season. Brahim Diaz coming for 16 million quid. But other signings, Axel Tuanzebe, £56 million, an interesting one because in reality, I think he could be on the brink of joining Newcastle on loan. Here he's joined them for £56 million, and after his first season, he's been distinctly average, but that's alright. They've also signed Andrea Pinamonti from Porto, number 13, 180 grand a week, 12 goals in his first Premier League season, not a bad return. And they've also signed Roberto Carlos. I'm going to assume it's not the Roberto Carlos, but he does play on the left wing. He could be on the way out already though, wanted by Burnley, £18.5 million. Why did they sign him? I suppose they're going to make a profit, that's fine. Anyway, going out, Calvert-Lewin's been loaned back to Everton, so obviously it's not really working out for him anymore. He hasn't even got a squad number. I don't know why they just gave up on him. His first 2 seasons were great, and then in season 3, 3 goals in 16 appearances wasn't great, but he's proven back at Everton that he can score goals. But this new Newcastle team are absolutely ruthless when it comes to player turnover. Let's have a little look at the players, and the best player at the club was Gabriel Martinelli. Number 17, 220 grand a week. He's just had the best season of his career, 14 Premier League goals and 14 Premier League assists. That's why he cost £114 million. In total, he's got 20 goals, one better than the number 9, Edgar Lemaire, the right wing number 9. Again, that's not right. Pinamonti, great first season. Barry Lewis has done well. Rodrigo Leal, see a regen. He is an Argentinian regen. He's got himself 7 Premier League goals. He's pretty good actually. 7 goals in 12 league appearances. At 25, I thought he was 20 years old. He's 25, but that's fine. He's still good. Elsewhere, Declan Rice has played brilliantly. In fact, I've told a lie. Gabriel Martinelli wasn't the best player in the club. I had it ranked by goals. Declan Rice was just slightly better than Gabriel Martinelli. Declan Rice looks like he's centre-back nowadays. 7.68, although he did get 13 assists and 6 goals. That's damn good from Declan Rice. It's no wonder he's the captain. 250 grand a week, my word. In fact, he's just had the best season of his career as well. Good on you, Declan Rice, son. So Gabriel Martinelli, he was the top scorer and the second best player at the club, so apologies for that, but it doesn't matter. I mean, he's still been bloody brilliant. 7.6. Newcastle United, they're doing alright. Things are just getting better and better. A domestic cup double. The youth category's gone to category 1, which is always a good thing. But one thing I didn't notice, in 2025, Amanda Staveley scaled down the funding. How on earth did I miss that? I mean, it hasn't really mattered because since then they've won 3 cups. I mean, it says they've scaled down funding, but I mean, when you look at the transfers, I mean, they did splash out a lot, but I mean, even in the past 3 years, they've been spending between 150 and 200 million pounds every year. When they scaled back funding, they just spent 400 million pounds on transfers. I mean, to be fair, it didn't take much scaling back to be considered scaling back. I mean, they're still spending huge money, and they're still solidifying themselves as a top 6 Premier League club. Can they go one further though and reach the top 4? Let's go another year into the future. Let's go into year 8. Let's see what happens. Okay, here we are, the 10th of June 2029, and sadly for Newcastle, they are still a Europa League club. They've came 6th, still in the top 6 of the Premier League, but they've come 6th with 70 points. 6 shy of Manchester City, who came 4th. Wolves have crept into top 6 contention. A big season from them. Best they've done so far was 6th in 2022. Since then they've been 9th, 8th, 9th, 8th. Pretty good, but this season they've came 5th, finishing 4 points above Newcastle. Let's check the Magpies out. Nuno's still the manager. I mean, things are they're going great for Newcastle. They're not going to be bothered about finishing consistently in the top 6. I mean, let's have a little look at the landmarks. There's been no cup success this season. They didn't win the Community Shield. Funding hasn't been scaled back anymore. And they've still spent £234 million. I mean, for goodness sake. If funding wasn't scaled back, what on earth would they be spending? £58 million on Amad Diallo, Liam Delap's arrived, Callum Hudson-Odoi. The biggest signing is that of Amad Diallo, the Man United youngster. Right wing, number 13, in his first season, 7.31. Not bad at all for the Ivory Coast winger. Let's see how Hudson-Odoi's got on. He's the number 12. Done alright. Not bad at all. But let's have a look at the schedule, see how they've been getting on in the cup competitions. They were beaten in the Community Shield by Man City, nothing to worry about. The Europa League, they were in a group with Porto, Bruges and Hartberg, a team I don't know, from Austria. So there we go, you've learned something from this video, or at least I have. They made it through the group. The second round they got past Rennes, and unfortunately it ended in the quarterfinals, losing to Arsenal. In the other cup, they didn't defend the FA Cup, beaten in the 5th round by Fulham. As for the League Cup, they were beaten in the semi-final by Leicester. So in the cup competitions, a little bit more disappointing, but let's have a look at the players. The main man was Edgar Lemaire, 16 goals and 15 assists, a huge tally. He's no longer the number 9, he's now number 10, which is much more suited, and he's a wanted man, wanted by the Premier League champions, Liverpool. Are they Premier League champions? Have I made that up? Yes, they are Premier League champions. That's an issue for Newcastle. For all they're getting these big names, they're spending massive money, they're still sceptical to losing their best players. Lemaire could be going to Liverpool. But some big performances. Lemaire's been great, Viard's been good, Diallo played well, Declan Rice of course. He's probably a club legend at this point. I'm going to have a little look actually. In fact no, he's only favoured personnel alongside Barry Lewis and Edgar Lemaire and Callum Wilson, which is pretty good. None of the new generation are classed as icons or club legends. I mean, to be honest, Amanda Staveley would probably be up there considering she's won Newcastle 3 trophies in the space of 3 years. Or was it 2 years? It was 2 years. Considering this is a club that's never been anywhere near trophies since the late 90s. I mean, it's been a remarkable rise with Saudi money. But can they go any further? I mean, yes, it's great that they're in the top 6, but eventually they're going to be wanting to be kicking on into the Champions League, solidifying themselves among Europe's elite. At the minute, all they've got are some air miles from the Europa League and some fancy signings. Can it go any further? Let's go to 2030, let's find out. Right, here we are, the 9th of June 2030, and once again, Newcastle haven't made it into the top 4. They finished 6th with 72 points. They're in contention, but it doesn't matter because it says here they have qualified for the Champions League, which can mean only one thing: they have won the Europa League. I'm going to go straight to the schedule. Their reputation up to 4.5 stars. That's huge now. Let's go straight to the bottom, and Newcastle United have won a major European trophy. They've won a European trophy for the first time since 1969 when they lifted the Fairs Cup. In 2030 they are Europa League champions, and it was an absolute breeze, the final, winning 3-0 against Zenit St. Petersburg. Elsewhere though, 5 days earlier they were beaten in the FA Cup final by Manchester United, so it could have been an even better season. League Cup, obviously they didn't win that either. They got beaten in the semi-finals, losing to Liverpool, but a 6th place finish and a Europa League final win. Huge season for Newcastle, and next season they are going to be back in the Champions League. Let's have a little look at their Europa League run. They were in a group with Rapid Vienna, Karabag and Utrecht. That's pretty easy, to be honest with you, and unsurprisingly they made it through. In the second round of the Europa League, they played AZ Alkmaar. Amad Diallo getting a hat-trick in the first leg. Very good. They beat Ludogorets in the quarter-final. Again, not a massively difficult game. And in the semi-final, they beat Sevilla, the Europa League experts. If you can get past Sevilla, your name is pretty much on the trophy. And that's the way it went. They beat Zenit St. Petersburg 3-0 in the final. Goals from Amad Diallo, who looks like he's had a great season, Gabriel Martinelli, one of the team stars, and Jefferson Antonio, who might be a new name. The number 6 left winger, 235 grand a week. It's been his first season, £111 million signing from the Premier League champions Liverpool. And what a signing he's been. Average rating 7.63 in all competitions. Let's have a little look at the transfers. £242 million spent. Obviously most of that's gone on Jefferson Antonio. Other big arrivals, the £40 million arrival of Alexander Pancaros. Don't know why I put an accent on there, but it was pretty good, wasn't it? He's a right back, one for the future. Been pretty good though, to be fair to him. Interestingly, they've also added Edison from Manchester City. At 36 years old, they've brought in a huge goalkeeping name, and a name who's had a good season. 7.05, which is, I mean, it's not as good he was doing at Man City, but it's still pretty solid for £2.4 million. Going out of the club, a lot of money came in, £144 million. Pinamonti's been let go for a fee potentially rising to £41 million. Juan Miranda gone to Atletico for £33 million. Let's have a little look at the players, see who's been the main man, and it has been Amad Diallo. What a signing he's been. 21 goals and 10 assists and an average rating of 7.76, putting him ahead of the new man Jefferson Antonio. Declan Rice had a great season as well. Quinteros has played well. Argentinian centre midfielder. He's been a great signing actually. Quite a few years ago, £8 million. This has been the season he's truly emerged on the scene, and what an emergence it has been. Gabriel Martinelli, 21 goals, so he was the joint top scorer. Marlon Cardona, who is he? A 20-year-old Colombian, the number 10, arrived for £1.6 million last season. What a signing this is. In his first proper season of Premier League football, where he's played consistently, 10 Premier League goals, 17 goals in all competitions, and he's already the club's number 10. Edison's had a good season, Elmas still playing well. Some absolute stars in this Newcastle team, but we do have an issue, because despite winning the Europa League, a couple of days later they failed to comply with Premier League financial fair play regulations. What will that mean? Will they be punished? Will there be a points deduction? Will they be stopped from signing players? Genuinely, I'm not quite sure what the punishment will be. Is there something on the news maybe? So let's have a little look. There's nothing mentioned, but there's only one way we're going to find out. So let's go a year into the future. They're going to be in next season's Champions League unless something goes majorly wrong with this financial fair play issue. I suppose it's not UEFA financial fair play. Maybe they'll just be stopped from signing players. Maybe they'll be docked points. Who knows? But they've just finished 6th in the Premier League. They've won the Europa League, and they're going to be back in the Champions League. Let's go into season 10. It will be a decade of the Saudi money being pumped into St James's Park. Where will the land lie after 10 years? Let's find out. Okay, here we are, the 8th of June 2031, the 10th season of Saudi investment, and sadly for Newcastle, they haven't really been anywhere near Champions League qualification. They came 6th with 67 points, 17 points shy of Tottenham, who finished 4th. There's been a change of manager though. They are now managed by Luis Enrique. Why has that happened? Let's have a little look. Nuno Espirito Santo resigned on the 24th of July 2030 for an international job. Yes, he is now the Portugal manager. I mean, fair play to Nuno. He's won 4 trophies. I nearly said Nuno. Was that not the vacuum from the Teletubbies? Anyway, Nuno won 4 trophies with Newcastle, a Europa League, an FA Cup and 2 League Cups. And now he has handed the reins to a huge name in Luis Enrique. In this simulation, he left Spain in 2021, he went to Chelsea for 4 years, he had 4 years with AC Milan, and now he is the Newcastle United manager. A huge name at St James's Park. In his first season, he's came 6th in the Premier League, and he hasn't won any trophies. Let's have a look at the schedule, see if they had any luck, if they got close anywhere. They were beaten in the Super Cup by Paris Saint-Germain in extra time, so it was a close run thing, not bad. Champions League, they were in a group with Salzburg, Galatasaray and Barcelona, and it got off to a perfect start. 3 wins out of 3, including a 2-1 win over Barcelona at St James's Park. Amazing. They lost the next game 2-0 at the Nou Camp, but that doesn't matter. In the end, they did make it through the Champions League group. They got into the first knockout round, but they were beaten by Bayern Munich. 4-1 on aggregate, a bit of a humbling defeat. FA Cup, they were beaten in the quarters by Man United, and for the League Cup, they were beaten early on by Tottenham in the 4th round. So in the cup competitions, Champions League got off to a good start, but it's ended in disappointment. So while Nuno won 4 trophies, Luis Enrique in his first season hasn't came close to silverware, but it's only his first season. There might be better to come from him. Let's have a little look at the landmarks. No mention of financial fair play. So I don't get what happened. Will they have been docked points? Have a look at the transfers. They've still spent £208 million, so maybe they were just fined. They've brought in £283 million, so even if they were fined, it probably doesn't matter. Gabriel Martinelli's left, oh no. £82 million to Chelsea, that's where most of the money's gone. Elif Elmas gone to Arsenal for £53 million. Hudson-Odoi's gone. Kenny Hudson, Mr. Hudson's son, probably not. Liam Delap's gone for big money. Big money departures from Newcastle. I mean, they've still spent big. £102 million on Elan Marshall. A centre-back, a centre-midfielder, Welsh, 59 caps already, 225 grand a week, and what a season he has had. Well, half a season at St James's Park. A big signing from Arsenal. That's the 3rd player in this simulation that Newcastle have spent more than £100 million on, and that money has gone into the pockets of the Arsenal owners. Let's have a little look at the players. Jefferson Antonio, the main man, 7.66. Declan Rice still doing brilliantly. Is he still the captain? He is. He's still the captain. Let's go back to the players. Declan Rice, as we were saying, 7.37. The top scorer at the club was Marlon Cardona, the Colombian, who we mentioned in the previous episode. What a signing that is, man. But he only got 14 goals in all competitions. There has been 5 players who've hit double figures, including Amad Diallo and Edgar Lemaire, who didn't go to Liverpool, interestingly, which is good. But now they've let Martinelli go, maybe they need a goal scorer. Maybe it's going to be Marlon Cardona in the coming years. I mean, he's doing pretty damn good, to be honest with you. Let's have a little look, see if anyone's reached iconic status. Nah, Not a single soul. No one's a legend either. Nuno Espirito Santo, after leaving the club, is now favoured personnel. So is Jefferson Antonio, which is pretty impressive considering he's only been there 2 years. That speaks volumes about how good he's been. But after 10 years of the Saudis, you can see just how well Newcastle have done. Things got off to a bad start, finishing 12th, just like they did under Steve Bruce. Since then, it has been a steady rise to the top 6. In 2025, they finished 4th, finishing in a Champions League position for the first time since the Bobby Robson era. Since then, they haven't got into the top 4, but they have been in the Champions League, they've won the Europa League, and they've never finished lower than 6th. But can they go any further? They haven't advanced the stadium yet, that's still 52,000 capacity. Obviously, we know the youth category went up to category 1 in 2028, but Amanda Staveley did scale back the funding in 2025 rather. But then again, I mean, you've just seen they've just spent £208 million, so scaling back the funding hasn't really mattered. Newcastle, a top 6 club and a team that are no longer shy of winning trophies. After 10 years, Amanda Staveley, the Reuben brothers and the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia have turned Newcastle United upside down. They've won them 4 trophies, they have got them playing European football and spending huge money. It is beyond the wildest dreams of Newcastle fans, and things can only get better. If we get enough views on this video, if we get enough likes, if you get enough comments, we'll do a part 3 because I want to see how far they can go. Can Newcastle break it into the top 4 and maybe even become title contenders with the backing of the Saudi Public Investment Fund? There's only one way we're going to do that. That's if you like this, if you watch it, but you've already, I can't say that because you're already here. Like it, share it, comment, all that good stuff. We will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo. And until next time, we will see you around.